Parents need to unite. We cannot allow the NEA, National Educators Association, CTA, California Teachers Association, and the APLE, the Association of Placentia Linda Educators, to regain control of PYLUSD. Hey, my friends, this is Andy coming to you live from Yorba, Linda, California, and I want to bring this to you because, as usual, in many private groups on social media, and even at some school board meetings, you have a small group of people. Many of them are not even parents in our Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. They are retired teachers. They are union hacks. They are people that don't even live in a city within the district, that are continuously doing everything they can to share lies and post comments that have no basis of truth. They continue to claim that the majority of trustees are either insurrectionists or extremists, and they are destroying the school district. None of this is true. I've shared with you in previous videos about the large number of things that are happening in the school district that are extremely positive. One common comment is that somebody like Patricia Hanzo or Bonnie Conti or some of the others that just love, Angela Eilers, love to comment. They say, "We no longer recognize the school district. It is so sad." Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about that, we had years of incompetency where our standards of education was dropping year by year, where millions of dollars was being blown by Carrie Buck and her administration at that time, where now we owe in the hundreds of millions of dollars in money in a horrific decision to take a loan. Or maybe the $1 million that are being lost by two schools that were approved by the last executive staff and administration. If that is what they don't recognize, that they want the district to continue to lose money on a regular basis, to lose a large number of children in regards to enrollment, then yes, you do not recognize the district, because now we have competent leadership. We have many programs that are catching the attention of parents throughout the area, not just within our district, and they're re-enrolling children in Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District like we have not seen in many years. And so yes, it is unrecognizable because the district is beginning to flourish. It is beginning to have a bit of light, where education is at the forefront. No longer is this liberal advocacy that we've seen over the last several years that is anti-education, anti-children, and anti-parents. Just to give you an example, here we have Patricia Hanzo, who got thrown out of a school board meeting because she was yelling and screaming in a bit of a rage for absolutely no reason, and then refused to leave until the police officer came and escorted her out. But this is just an example. In a random post, Panda Bear and Patricia Hanzo thought it would be good to tell people, for whatever reason, I'm not sure, that use these online forums to report concerns and request an investigation into what? Who knows? Of competency and moving forward with education. That's why we demand an investigation. Our children in the district are being educated. We cannot stand for this. Contact the California Department of Education online contact form, gives the URL, and then gives the address on Flower Street in Santa Ana. I used them back in March about the Brown Act violation, so someone needs to do it for the recent stuff. Again, apparently that's education. You then have PYL Buzz admin, who is writing to attack a number of us who are for children, and we want education to be brought back to the district. And she writes, "Who is Chernus Inner Circle? Let's dive in to this list of far-right extremists." So that's not new. We've been called far-right extremists. When you want education, when you want to protect children, when you no longer want the CTA and the NEA to have control over a school district, of course, the union calls you an extremist. Obviously, PYLBuzz and Patricia Hanzo and the like are union hacks. And then she goes on to list a whole bunch of people's names. And these are all people that regularly speak and have asked, in different ways that we get back to education, and that we want no longer the CTA to be in control of our school district because they've done nothing but cause chaos over the last several years. And then we get to, somebody who writes newsletters, Nancy Reichel, who's a former mayor. She writes... she was a mayor over a decade ago who runs an extreme right-wing online newsletter. What does that even mean? I don't even know. And then I get brought up, Andy Falco, a legend in his own mind. Well, okay. Hosts a daily, weekly podcast to review the happenings in PYLUSD and discusses the Bible. I don't recall ever discussing the Bible in the same show. It is possible, but I have a separate podcast where my wife and I do discuss the Bible. I have no idea what that has to do with PYLUSD, but apparently to PYLBuzz, this is really, really important. I broke the news of EHS principal being let go and somehow had inside information. Again, on the podcast, when I was speaking about it, I said this is public information. Apparently to PYLBuzz admin, who believes that public information is somehow also called inside information. And then when she goes into the next sentence, which says constantly berates teachers, which I have not berated a teacher. I've challenged her, him, whoever it is, to show me the videos where I have berated a teacher. There is one, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And parents who do not agree with him as idiots and stupid. Okay, if you want to bring pornography into, let's go ahead and come back to my camera. If you want to bring pornography into our elementary schools, you are an idiot. If you want to claim through CRT that police officers are killing black men to 10 to 15 a day, I've heard things as hundreds a month, and I've heard thousands a year. If you want to spew that kind of nonsense into our schools, you are a moron, because that is not happening. FBI studies, and I believe it was Harvard or Yale did a study, and they proved that to be, of course it's wrong. I don't even know why you have to have a study to prove that being wrong. But they did, and it's something like 8 over the last couple of years total. More white men have been shot and killed by police officers than black men. So if you'd want to make all of these claims, and there's hundreds of others that they want to make, if you want to make these claims, then yes, I do call you stupid, and you are an idiot, because none of those things are true. There are people that sometimes just read these things. I just had this happen the other day. Again, I've shared this too, and I'm going to try to keep this part short, is that on occasion, somebody will come up to my wife, or they'll come up a friend of mine, they say, who is this Andy person who Bonnie Conte is saying is a horrible man, or calls him that man? And then once they are once they share the correct information about what's happening in our school district, they go, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I was just believing, Patricia Hanzo. I was just believing Bonnie. I didn't look into it myself, but now that you've made me aware, wow, that makes more sense. Hopefully he'll do more videos pointing out the hypocrisy or the lies or other information that on the surface sounds like somebody's doing something horrible, when in fact bringing truth is what they are calling extremist. When you bring truth, they call you an extremist. So going back to my screen, you got PYLBuzz, an anonymous member. You notice most of these people don't want to show their face because they know for a fact what they're saying is a lie. And I'm going to skip down here where the second paragraph where it says, I am devastated by the routine teacher bashing that is allowed at monthly board meetings, and I'm shocked by the division of our executive and elected board. In all my years in this community, we have always worked as a team, parents, teachers, and administrators, to benefit our kids. That is why people have sacrificed and moved to this district. Now, some have chosen to make our teachers the enemy. We are not. We are professionals that work hard each and every day to provide our kids with the tools they need to be successful in life. We are acutely aware of the awesome responsibility we hold and strive to make each child in our care feel noticed and nurtured. Those last two things are crazy. Okay, coming back to my camera. Again, I don't know of anybody, not one person. On our side, we have to obviously choose sides in this whole thing because that's just the way that it's turned out. But because of the other post where they've named all these people they call insurrectionists and extremists and all these other types of names. I've challenged anybody, and I will challenge you if you missed my other videos. Show me one video, take a screen clip or a screen recording, whatever you want to call it, of any of people that have gone up to the podium and said anything nasty about teachers. I'm trying to read the exact words here. Where we have bashed teachers. Show me one video where we have bashed teachers. Now, of course, we bashed the teachers union, which is a separate group from teachers. You have teachers, and then you have the teachers union, a cabal of organizations like the NEA, the CTA, the APLE, and a number of other ones, who are very much against parents being involved in the education of their kids. That is no lie. They fought against parents' rights in our school and other districts. This woman or man, whoever wrote this, obviously does not want the involvement of parents. She hates the involvement of parents, even though she writes on here, or he writes in here, that we've worked together as a team. That is a lie. Because you got Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson who voted no against the parents' rights, which is in line with what these people want. They do not want the involvement of parents. They don't want us speaking out at school board meetings. They will harass us and harass you if you do. And they will claim things like, oh, they're bashing teachers. We have never bashed a teacher. Again, I was going to tell you the one teacher. You get the one teacher over at El Dorado High School who in her class was sharing with children how to masturbate anally and where to get the vibrator, and was describing where it is it needs to be inserted and how it needs to be used in our classroom. That is uncalled for and unnecessary and wrong, and we're borderlining on criminal. And so, yes, when those kinds of things happening, I'm more than happy to speak out against the teacher. They call her a bunch of names. I'm not going to use any of those. But that is the one teacher that I know of. If you can find a video of me doing that, then I will accept that. But that's not that. I acknowledge that one. But I don't see any parent ever bashing teachers as a group. We love our good teachers, and we love the teachers that are focused on education and doing what it is that they are supposed to be doing. This is all nonsense. They throw this stuff up as an anonymous person because they believe, like this lady just the other day, believes it. She reads it and she goes, oh my gosh, they're bashing teachers at school board meetings. How horrible is that? When in fact, that has never happened. And they have never been able to produce a video shot of anybody doing that and sending it my way. Again, the challenge is still there. I'll give you $100 if you can find one. Again, other than the booty lady. All right. So coming onto my screen, you have Jonah Hayden Robinson. I am a retired teacher from Valencia High School. I have a very different impression of the new superintendent and the majority board members. They have conducted a purge. A purge of the district in two different waves. A year ago, they dismissed many district officials, including Rick Lopez, Assistant Superintendent of Personnel. This year, including the continuation high schools, 4 of the principals have left. One was the principal of El Dorado High School, Joey Davis. I have worked with these 2 men, and they are extremely competent. That is a lie. Dedicated and exemplary educators. I have seen nothing of to prove that they are exemplary in anything. Faculty and other administrators don't say much because they are scared. I urge you all to really investigate what is going on in the district. Now, all of this is hogwash, and I'm going to share with you some of the information that I know of, which is public information, and it is not information that was leaked to me. This is information that is out there in the public. Rick Lopez, by the way, willingly left for Claremont. He wasn't forced out. Why did Rick Lopez go to Claremont? Because that's where El Sasser went and all of his other friends, where they can continue to do the nonsense that they were doing here, but in a safe environment where nobody's going to call them out because the union has, and of course they have control of that particular school district. So Rick Lopez doesn't want to be at Placentia Yorba Unified School District where his nonsense is going to be called out, but he willingly left. He wasn't forced out. Giordano left and was found to not be reporting, sorry, little typo there, all funding to the board, $43 million worth of funding. Now, coming back to my camera, if you own a business out there, Bonnie Conte, if you have an employee who is responsible for keeping your books, for instance, and they're hiding millions of dollars from you, do you keep that employee? Do you say, you know what, that's okay? You just hid $43 million so they could use it for their own little pet projects, and did not make the school board aware of it. You're going to keep that person again. In regard to your business, you're going to keep an employee that keeps even let's say $2,000. You had somebody that was responsible for depositing certain funds, and they decided, I'm going to deposit just 50% of the funds and then keep the other 50% and put it in my pillowcase. You're okay with that? Okay. Joey Davis was offered a promotion. He chose to leave the district after a report. Well, he chose not to accept the promotion where he's going to get paid more, and he went to Brea, Olinda, I believe it was, school district. And this was after the district, he left the district after a report by Placentia police officers about a hostile work environment. So I knew through some people in the community that this incident occurred, and it was confirmed by my many questioning of the people not of the school district but out of the school district, and so this incident was confirmed. 2 police officers, school resource officers, were working under very harsh circumstances. They filed a hostile work environment in their police department, and then Dr. Alex Chernis, who they seem to hate, these people, went there and saved the school resource officer program for El Dorado High School, and he saved it. So you believe what you want. If you want a man in your school, in your high school, who harasses police officers to the extent that they have to file a hostile work environment, then that is your prerogative. I believe that we would not want somebody that's harassing police officers to the extent that they file a hostile work environment. But to my chagrin, he was not fired. He was offered a promotion, and Joey Davis chose not to stay within the school district, and he left and went to Brea. Richard Dinn left to be the director in the district he grew up in. Richard decided on his own to, I want to work in the district that I grew up in and went to school with, and that's where he decided to go. So I don't know what you call that. Sarah Fisher at Brookhaven, the principal there, was going to retire and made an announcement that she was going to retire. You know what? She decided to stay. And I haven't talked to her about this and why she decided to stay. I did talk to her about how sad I was that she was leaving, and my son and I gave her a gift, and we just told her that we really appreciated her leadership over at Brookhaven. And then it was just a couple days after that she decided to stay. It had nothing to do with us, by the way. I'm just assuming that she saw that, hey, this district is actually moving in a positive direction, and so she decided to stay. Again, I don't know that for sure, but I would make that assumption. If she thought the district was moving in a negative direction, then why would she stay? So it only makes sense that she saw something positive in the school district, and then she decided to stay. So that shares a little bit about Sarah Fisher, who's staying. Jeff Giles' contract was not renewed, as far as I understand. I don't know this for sure because nobody shares with me anything from the school district. By a 5-0 vote, everyone, including Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson, voted to not renew Jeff Giles' contract. Because of what I understand and what I was going to share and decided not to, several incidents of shenanigans is what I'm going to call it. And that is what happened. Coming back to my camera just really quick. And so you can see that you have these few people, again, the Patricia Hanzos, the pandas, the koala bears, the polar bears, the furries, I call them. The furries and Patricia Hanzo and a handful of others just really want to just put these posts up there with no substance, with no context, and say, oh my gosh, there's a purge. I forgot the name, woman's name who said there was a purge. There's not a purge. These are normal things that happen within any business. Any business on the planet, and if you look back 4 years ago within our school district, 12 principals and vice principals were shown the door for one way or another. Either they voluntarily left because they wanted to retire, or they saw another opportunity somewhere, or their contracts renewed. 12. Never during that period of time, I was around and I was very focused on the school district at that time. Never did I see any of these people. I did see Patricia Hanzo going, what's happening? Carrie Buck is purging 12 principals out of our school district. You didn't see anybody, posting nonsense about everybody that's being forced out of the school district. None of that was happening at that time. But you have a few people who have, for whatever reason, for different reasons, decided to leave on their own, were acting inappropriately, for whatever. This is normal business. It is not the acts of extremists. Dr. Chernis is an amazing human being that if you ever talk to him for just a few minutes, you would understand that he has nothing, there's nothing more important to him than the education of children, putting kids first, and making sure that the parents are involved in the education of children. There is nothing more important. You can call them all the names you want. It just is like water off a duck's back. And these things that I just shared with you are just normal things that happen within our school district. All right. So just to kind of just give you another shot of what is actually happening. This is from the Orange County Register. And just to read off the top here, it says, no layoffs are expected and no pink slips have been handed out to any teachers or administrators, PYLUSD's Superintendent Alex Chernis said. At a time when other school districts in Orange County are laying off teachers, new enrollment in PYLUSD is booming, Chernis said. And then he just continues. So coming back to my camera again, the teachers union, if it was in fact an actual teachers union, which it's not, it's an activist organization. It is a Democratic arm of the Democratic Party. If they were truly a teachers union and interested in the employment of teachers, they should be kissing Chernis's foot. And praising him every opportunity they had. Patricia Hanzo and all of our union hacks should be going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We finally have a competent superintendent who's increasing enrollment, and no teachers are being given any pink slips or administrators. Now, again, I told you the ones that were not renewed, but that was a 5-0 vote from the trustees. We're talking about in relationship to having to fire people because they can't afford to keep them or what have you. That is not happening. And the union should be, instead of calling everybody in the book names, they should be saying, wow, this is amazing what is happening in our school district. So I'm gonna finish this off with something really important that you need to understand. So the people, again, who are creating these narratives of negativity and the purge and calling people extremists are, again, union people. Union people. they're either part of the union or have been part of the union, or they are being sponsored by the union to run for school board member. And so in this next screenshot that I'm going to show you here, you got Bonnie Conti, who says, "Congrats to Tricia and thank you for serving our community. Fun fact, Tricia is also running for a PYLUSD school board seat. She is running in Area 1. I think she is a great candidate and will do a great job." So Bonnie Conti likes to pretend that she is a conservative, I believe I've heard. Now, I could be wrong, but I've heard people say, well, she tells everybody she's a conservative. And she says she's a Christian, but yet she's supporting somebody who is funded in very much a progressive and a union hack, who is going to be being supported financially in her campaign by the union. Now, the things below of her work at El Dorado can actually be good. That I don't have a problem with Tricia Quintero being on the PTA necessarily. Now we're going to find some stuff out about the PTA, which is more union friendly than parent friendly. But none of those things really do much harm to the education of our kids and to parents' involvement and that kind of seed necessarily, as far as I can tell. Now somebody may prove me wrong, but all of her time spent being a part of the Boosters Club, for instance, for football and all these other things, all are fantastic. That is great. But we cannot have somebody like Tricia Quintero be a trustee within our school board, because that will give us a person on the board who is totally on board with the union. And the union cannot be trusted. They have nothing positive to add to our school district. They have not for decades. And Tricia is going to be one of those people, if elected, who is going to do everything she can, much like Carrie Buck and Marilyn Anderson, to vote no against anything that is positive for children and their education and for parents, and for moving forward with projects that are going to bring more children to our schools, which increases enrollment, which then increases the funding, which allows us to do some amazing things in our school district. Tricia is anti children and education and parents, and we cannot have that. So how do I know this? Well, I've shared with these for years now. I've shared with you what the CTA does and how they do it. I'm just going to talk about the books. Now, you know, all these people, they love to say that the extremists are burning books and that kind of stuff, but that is not happening. Again, I've never seen Leandra Blades light a match and put gasoline on a bunch of books and burn them in the parking lot. But you have these books which have been read in the school board meetings, and there's a number of them here. I'm not going to read them all out aloud, but like the one in the middle, Tell Me What Children Really Want to Know About Bodies, Sex, and Emotions. And then far right one there, it says, All Boys Aren't Blue. This is just some of the nonsense books that they want in our children's libraries, in the elementary school libraries. And coming back to my camera really quick, is that these are the books that just do not belong in the libraries of elementary schools. Again, we've read them. I have not, but many parents have read some of the paragraphs and off the pages of some of these books. And back when El Sasser, Matthews were superintendents, they demanded the parents stop because it was inappropriate, that it was too graphic, that it was too sexually abhorrent to be reading in a school board meeting. So you're saying, El Sasser, Matthews, Carrie Buck, Marilyn Anderson, that these books can be in our children's libraries, elementary school libraries, middle school libraries, but they're not appropriate to read out loud at a school board meeting. So this is what they're talking about when you, again, I'm only sharing this because you have parents out there, or you have members of the community that only hear that the majority trustees, or maybe even Alex Chernis, is banning books or burning books in the parking lots of these schools, when they don't understand what it is that is not being allowed. Is pornography is not being allowed to be in our schools. It is against the law to show children pornography. It is against the law and it is against the education code to show children pornography. How do I know these things? I'm going to go to my website here, or to my browser, and now sharing my screen here is that you have this is the NEA website. NEA and the CTA. If we go here to the left, you see where it says NEA CTA. This is their website. And it's all about sex education resources, about how teachers can do this behind parents' backs, and even behind the superintendent's backs and the school board. There's many articles here on how it is that they can sneak these things in and really make it important to do so if they're going to be in good graces of the CTA. If you decide that you want to speak out against this, they will do everything they can to harm you, and that is the California Teachers Association and the NEA. And this is how one of the articles that they share on the California Teachers Association website is this article that says, "Organize like a sex worker, learning from worker and organizer Kate D'Amato." So this is written by a prostitute for teachers. And in the second paragraph here, it just, I think it's important for you to understand why they want teachers to read this. It says, sex workers have long existed in legal gray areas, figuring out how to make a living, stay safe, and avoid liability wherever possible. They also face stigma, judgment, and pushback from both the Christian right and sex work exclusionary feminists. What do those words sound like? Do they sound like Patricia Hanzo? Does it sound like many of the other people that are writing these posts, Panda Bear and Koala Bear and Polar Bear? These are the same words that they're using in these posts. But it continues, but progressive spaces would be wise to work together with sex workers to brave this new world where accessing basic health care can land you in jail, which is a lie. To do so, though, they will also have to accept that sex work is work, and that supporting and embracing sex workers in reproductive justice space is just like supporting other workers. This is critical to ensure the reproductive and sexual liberation of anyone. This, my friends, is the California Teachers Association and the Association of Placentia Linda Educators and the National Educators Association. This is their website. This is the one that they have a QR code that they show to children so they can take that, scan it with their phone, so it will take them to this website. And then teachers also are to review what's on these websites the CTA tells them to do, so that they can act like sex workers and work in the gray area, and they can get these things done under the darkness. See, it's no accident that I said that Chernice and the three three trustees that have the majority on our board are working in light and transparency. The light is, this is what they're doing. This is where the money is coming from. This is how they're going to use it. These are the programs we're going to put forward to educate children. This is the policy for parents' rights. These are all these things that are in the light. While people like Patricia Hanzo and her supporters like Bonnie Conti and who else do I have here? I got a bunch of names. Who are these people? Sorry, I've lost some of these names. Anita Lee is another one. She apparently is in Yorba Linda Moms. Isn't that funny that Yorba Linda Moms has the word moms in there, but they don't want to be good moms. They want pornography in the schools. They want boys and girls locker rooms. They want men in the girls' restrooms. They want men to compete against their girls on the track. And yet it's this group called Yorba Linda Moms who are supporting all this nonsense. They want teachers to act like sex workers. And this is really what's strange to me. It really is odd. I have so many names on my list here. There's about 15 women, mostly. There's a couple men too that really enjoy this. Going back to my screen, we got this Teen Health Source, which is all about queering sexual education. And this is really important. This is why when I talk about Planned Parenthood, this is really a program developed by Planned Parenthood for the teachers' unions so they can get more queering sexual education into our schools. And it's really imperative for them. And of course, because parents' rights is something that will keep this from happening, that's why they hate parents' rights. That's why they hate the involvement of parents. And so this is really, really important that you understand that this is who the CTA is. This is who Tricia Quintero is supporting. This is what you're going to get if you vote for anybody that is being supported by the teachers union. So I just hope this all makes sense, that you're getting bombarded with information about things that are not happening in our school district. They are calling people that are wanting education for our children and want parent involvement. They're calling them extremists because of that. And then they're telling teachers to act like sex workers and to hide in the darkness and to teach your children things that you don't want, that they know you don't want, and they want to do it under the guise of equity and DEI and CRT and all these things. So really, really important that you understand what is happening in the school district. And they will continue to call me names and Alex Chernus and all that kind of stuff, but we will not give up the fight for our kids and the school district. We are at a place where we are doing some great things as a community, and join us. Make sure that you understand what is really happening in our school district. All right, my friends, that is it. I'll talk to you later. Take care.